My name is Emmett Traynor.
And I'm Molly Traynor. And we have been married for 7 years, but we've known each other for about 20 years. We live in Woodway, which is in Snohomish County. We have 3 little girls. We have Luca, and she's 9 years old. And we have Frankie, who is 6 years old, and Bianca, who just turned 2. We've had a cabin, it's right out of Twisp, and we've had it in my family since long before I was born. So I've been going there since I was probably 2 weeks old. It's our favorite place. I mean, it's our second home, and it's where we take off right when summer hits, and for every school holiday, that's where we go. And we always leave the day after Christmas and go and spend that week through the new year.
We left on January 1st, and it was Molly and I and our 3 kids and our 2 nephews, who are twin boys. All 7 of us left Twisp at around noon. We got to Stevens Pass around 3:30.
It was New Year's Day, so it was busy. We were coming down the west side between milepost 61 and 62, and there was a van traveling up the mountain, and he just turned left at 50, 60 miles an hour straight into our car. We didn't even have time to put on our brakes. We didn't even see it coming. I don't remember any of the initial accident. I vaguely have little blurps of being told. I was standing outside my car. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman who was telling me that there's been an accident. Nobody was able to get out of the vehicle after the accident. The kids were all in their car seats, and Emmett was trapped in his seat. He actually had to be taken out. They had to take the door off with the jaws of life. They had to get that up the mountain to get him out. Emmett was transported first, and then 2 more ambulances took the kids, the 5 kids. They put them in 2 different ones. They took them immediately to Evergreen in Monroe, and then I was the last one to be transported down in an ambulance. I remember asking once, are the kids okay? Where are the kids? And is Emmett okay? Is my husband okay? My EMT driver, he called to make sure, to tell me that the kids were okay, or to give me some sort of update on the kids. And when I asked about Emmett, the only thing I remember is, your husband has been badly injured.
When Emmett was brought to our facility, he immediately came through our trauma bays into a trauma room. When he arrived, he was in severe respiratory distress. He was stabilized so he could go across the hallway to get his CAT scans, and at that time what we saw was significant.
During the accident, the driver's side wheel was pushed into my leg, and the steering wheel was pushed into my chest. From the steering wheel, it caused a few ribs to be broken, my diaphragm and spleen to be lacerated, and my lung to collapse, and I had a lot of internal bleeding. I broke my femur and crushed my foot. I broke a majority of the bones in my left foot.
We rank these injuries based on an injury severity score, and anything over 15 is serious. His was double. At the time of surgery, he had his spleen that was lacerated, so it had a laceration, an injury, it was bleeding, and his stomach, which was not bleeding, but in his chest, so that all had to be taken and fixed.
I try not to think about what would have happened if Emmett didn't receive care right away. Because I think when you have internal injuries like that, they don't know what's wrong with you at that point. They cut you open and go from there. And when they opened him up and saw what was going on, it's alarming to think that the situation could have gone a completely different direction had he not received care right away.
Post-surgery, Emmett was still in serious, grave condition and was placed in an intensive care unit, still required a breathing tube.
I was in the ICU for 9 days. I had problems remembering what had happened, and even just hours before. So every time I woke up, the accident had to be explained to me again, and I just know that I really wanted to see my family, and I was really concerned about my wife and kids.
I was on the orthopedic floor.
She was on the orthopedic floor.
I'd broken my ulna and radius, and then clavicle, so I have metal and screws, and then a broken ankle. My right ankle was broken. Luckily, the children's injuries were not extensive. physically. I think for them it was emotional. My oldest daughter, I asked her, you know, what does she remember about the accident? And she says she just remembers everything being white, and that's the airbags. And then this powder comes out, which I don't remember any of, but Luca told me the powder was all over the car, and that the little ones were all crying, and that we were in the front and we weren't moving, and I'm sure that was just like horrifying. And that's the worst part for me, is thinking about the kids. And I'm sure they were just so scared. I don't think that we could have received better care as far as the staff here. I felt like we were in the best hands. You have no control. We had obviously no control over where we were going after that accident. And so being here, in hindsight, was absolutely the best place for us to be as far as the personal care that we received from the people here. I mean, I think that it was really top notch, and we are so grateful. We're so grateful.
I had some bad injuries, and I don't think that, you know, any other doctor could have done a better job putting me back together. You know, really did an A+ job.
Just saying Providence has a whole different meaning for me, because we were at Providence, we're here. And I look at January 1st, 2018 as the best and worst day of our lives, because the worst, because this horrible thing happened to us, but the best because we're here. We're still here to talk about it.